do you believe that rhetoric targeting officials with violence for carrying out their constitutional duties is a threat to democracy, Mr. Ward? Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet: "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It is our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They are pariahs. Since women don't have their rights, these justices should never have a peaceful moment in public again." I know something about being accosted. The night of January 5th, I was physically accosted on the streets of DC in Navy Yard by a constituent of mine. I fervently blamed rhetoric on social media, rhetoric at public events, for being physically accosted. I carry a gun everywhere I go when I am in my district and I'm at home, because I know personally that rhetoric has consequences. I've had my car keyed. I've had my house spray painted. I had someone trespass in my house as recently as August. I've been doxxed on social media about where I live. And I've had to add to security everywhere I go. Often, because I can't afford it, I have to carry my own firearm wherever I go. And Alejandra Caraballo also recently tweeted on November 19th, not even a month ago, that the Supreme Court, vested with the judicial power of the United States by our Constitution, stated they are not a legitimate court issuing decisions. And also the Supreme Court is an organ of the far right. So my last question today of Ms. Caraballo: do you stand by these comments, this kind of rhetoric on social media? And do you believe it's a threat to democracy?
Thank you, Representative, for the opportunity to clarify and provide context to my tweets.
I have a question. Is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court?
I don't believe that's a correct characterization
What
of
you
my
tweeted,
statements.
though. Did you not tweet that? That you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm saying is that
yes
that
or
is
no?
not an accurate characterization of my statements.
On June 8th of this year, a man was arrested near Justice Brett Kavanaugh's home in Maryland. He told law enforcement officers he wanted to kill a Supreme Court justice. He was found with a knife, with a pistol, 2 magazines, ammunition, pepper spray, zip ties, a hammer, crowbar, and duct tape. The threats that members of Congress, the threats that branches of government face on the left and the right, as was mentioned by the chairman earlier in the committee hearing, what happened to the Speaker's husband is every member's worst nightmare. So it's clear to me that we have to call out the threats to our democracy emanating from wherever they come, whether it's the right or the left. It is incumbent upon every one of us to call it out on both sides of the political spectrum and recommit ourselves to the Constitution and the rule of law. I look forward to working with anyone, Republican or Democrat, as you know, Mr. Chairman, to address these threats from within and without. And I look forward to inviting more people who actually know what they're talking about to our witness panels in the 118th Congress. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you, Ms. Mace.
I love it so much when people like Nancy Mace go after these people with their own words and their own tweets. Like, did you say that? And they're like, well, it was taken out of context. Well, no, yes, but. What's most troubling about this right now in the world we live in currently, not so long ago, our president and his lapdogs and nodders in unison were saying that white supremacy was the biggest threat to our democracy. Unless you've been living under a rock, I think it's abundantly clear what the biggest threat to our democracy is. It's not moms at school board meetings. It's not Trump Republicans. It's not the MAGA Republicans. It's not the white college-educated men who work out. It's Islamic terrorists. Let's face it. We have an open border where these people have crossed through. Our home country is not safe. We see what is going on in Israel. No one can take these people seriously any longer. And now the jig is up. The lie has been exposed. No one believes this anymore, and now they're just going to sweep it under the rug. We have serious problems in this world. Very serious. If Israel ceases to exist, there's no democracy in the Middle East, okay? And if you want it to be taken over by Islamic terrorists, you need to read a few history books. And if you think those people aren't here, you're out of your goddamn minds, because they are. And unfortunately, sadly, and I hope it's not true, it's just a matter of time when something happens here. And I assure you, it's not going to be done by a MAGA Republican.